you actually wrote a book in 2013 called The Learning Curve, and you actually talk about trends in business schools and how they can really lead not just management education, but business education. What are some of the major trends you talked about in the book and major conclusions or takeaways?
Well, we see lots of changes in terms, for example, of the nature of faculty. What participants and executives demand more is faculty who can actually combine the three major facets, which are research, teaching, good communication skills, as well as competencies in consultancy or dealing with the top management. That's why I refer, to these sort of professors of academics. I refer to them not just as gurus, people who produce wise knowledge, but actually kangaroos, because they have to jump from research into the class and from there to the top management, and they have to excel in these three different facets. So we need a different sort of professor, not just focused on research, but also very knowledgeable of the real problems from the business world. And this will bring schools closer to the actual business world. What I guess we miss now is more proximity, more awareness of the actual business problems. We need to be embedded in society. Universities were founded originally in the monasteries. They were very detached from the actual world, professional world, and we are probably falling into the same syndrome. We need to get embedded in society. Business schools are professional schools, and we need to know and solve the real problems of business.
Yeah, so I know you talk about that in your book, the agora in academe. And I think often, particularly in recent years, we've been challenged as business schools or management educators that we are distant from practice and that our research perhaps is not as relevant as it could be. What are some things that schools are doing or could be doing in order to make sure that both the reality and the perception is that we are doing research that is relevant to business and society as a whole?
I guess we need to revisit a number of institutions that have been in place in the academic world for too many years. First, the way we train and graduate our PhDs, and AACSB has done there a magnificent, wonderful work. This report on PhD programs, which was published 2 years ago. But then we need to instill in PhDs not just the good research skills, but also the awareness of what are the real business problems. We need to bring them closer to the actual business world. And of course, we need to develop in them also the good teaching skills. When I meet some academics that only care for research, I sometimes believe I'm in front of a lame academic, because I very much care also for the transmission of knowledge and for knowing what are the real problems on which you have to run your research. But of course, if we revisit these institutions, the PhD programs, maybe also the way we evaluate and promote our faculty, and it's not a secret that in many places the institution of tenure is now under revision and discussion. So we need to probably think and discuss what is needed in order to produce better academics that are more responsive and closer to the actual business world.